Hey, how's it going guys? Phil here, and this is a review for the Chulux 6-quart electric pressure cooker. This is the electric pressure cooker. It measures 13 inches tall and has a 13.5-inch diameter including the handles. The power cord is 5 feet long. The lid unlocks smoothly by turning clockwise, and on top you'll find the floating pressure valve, which can be set to release or seal, and an emergency pressure release valve. On the bottom of the lid is a removable rubber seal and debris filter for the pressure valve. Inside, you'll find a few accessories like a steaming plate, a plastic rice scoop, and a wire rack. The inner pot lifts out and it's made of stainless steel. It has measurement lines to help you measure the water required for rice. The inside of the cooker has a heating element on the bottom and a non-stick coating on the inner surface for easy cleaning. On the back of the unit is a condensation catch cup that removes for cleaning as well. Let's take a closer look at the control panel. The manual does a really poor job of explaining the functions, so I'll go through what each button does. So you've got your presets like bean, meat, cake, heating, rice, noodles, soup, bone, and porridge. And then you've got these two, preset setting and pressure keeping setting. So the food buttons are supposed to be shortcuts for common foods that you might cook. But that's debatable, since bone is kind of ambiguous, and I'm not sure how often folks make porridge these days. So basically, the preset setting button is a delayed start timer, and pressing plus adds half an hour to the clock, up to 24 hours. Pressure keeping setting allows you to control how long your food stays under pressure once the pot is preheated. This goes up to 99 minutes. When you press the presets, it just inputs set values for the pressure time. For example, heating is just a generic 10-minute pressure time, while the rice button actually uses a higher working temperature, and pressing the button repeatedly allows you to select the number of cups of dry rice you used. With any preset, like noodle, you can increase the pressure time and also add a delayed start time to it. Pressing cancel will clear your settings. Okay, so that's the basics. Let's start cooking. I've got here all the ingredients for lamb tagine. So into the pot goes my browned lamb, onion, garlic, ginger, and turmeric, and we'll also add a dash of salt and pepper. Now I'll just close it up, set the valve to seal, and let's try the meat button and increase the time to 30 minutes. After the number stops blinking, it'll be in preheat mode. Note that the 30 minutes won't start to count down until the pot is preheated and up to pressure. This takes about 10 minutes. I'll start a timer so you can see. So just around 9.5 minutes, you see the two zeros on the left are no longer moving. That means the pot is up to temperature and under pressure. As you can see, the pressure timer is now counting down. When cooking is done, it'll beep and switch to keep warm. You can let the pressure release on its own, or with a gloved hand, you can move the seal valve to release. See that steam pouring out the top? You don't want your hand over the valve when you open it. It's super hot and could burn you. Not good. Once all the pressure is released, you can open the top. I'm going to give this a stir, add the raisins and cinnamon, and now it's going to go in for another 20 minutes. The second time around, since the pot is already hot, it comes up to pressure within a minute. So here's the tagine, nice and reduced. We'll serve it over black and brown rice, put some almond flakes and sesame on there, and garnish with cilantro. The meat and veggies came out super tender, and the flavors were melded together. But you don't have to go so complex. Here we'll use the pressure cooker to make 2 cups of white rice. And you'll see I'm adding enough water to hit the 2 line inside the pot. Now I'll press the rice button a few times until I get it to the 2 to 3 cup setting. And it says 5 minutes under pressure, but again with the 10-minute preheat time, the rice should be done in about 15 minutes. Alright, let's let out the pressure. And here's the rice, beautifully cooked, slightly sticky jasmine. Not too wet, not too dry. Let's serve that with some crumbled sausage and eggplant and a side of grilled zucchini. Delicious. There's no recipe book included, so I'm kind of making up recipes as I go. Here's 1 to 2 inch cubed sweet potatoes. I'm going to add half a cup of sweet sake. Let's try some corn on the steamer plate on top, and put that in for about 15 minutes. When it's done, we've got plump steamed sweet corn and tender braised sweet potatoes. Great sides for grilled chicken and Brussels sprouts. And finally, I do want to try out the cake setting. I'm going to grease the bottom and sides of the bowl, then pour in my chocolate cake batter. Now it's important for dry cooking that you turn the valve to release and not seal. I do feel a bit safer lifting the valve off completely, though I don't know if that's recommended. I'll hit the bake button and put it in for 50 minutes. And this was the only recipe that gave me trouble. As you can see, it's way too wet in there. It's almost like a steamed cake, and it didn't cook all the way through. Really disappointing. Overall, I actually like the functionality of the pressure cooker. It's fast, easy to use, and if you can get the bake setting to work, it saves you from having to turn on the big oven. It's also pretty easy to clean. My biggest complaint is that there wasn't a recipe book included to give you an example on how to use each setting. That and the instructions were pretty poorly translated. I'd really love to make a successful cake in it, but I'm not quite sure what the process is. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I'm quite pleased and have been using it about twice a week, just experimenting with different recipes. I hope you enjoyed this review. You can ask me any questions in the comments. I'll put a link to the product in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and join me next time.